Hi, this is Phil, and I'm here to tell you all about the Capes and Lunatics Patreon. Don't miss out on our comic book creator interviews, including our monthly Chichester chats with comic book legend DG Chichester, superhero movie brackets in our search for the worst comic book movie of all time, and many, many more specials, all completely uncensored. Access starts for $3 a month, full video when you pledge $5 a month. Check out the link in our show notes or go to patreon.com/CapesandLunatics. Hope to see you there.
This is Luca Perich, host of a Totally Turtle Sports and Gaming YouTube channel, and you're listening to the Capes and Lunatics Podcast Network.
In brightest day,
in blackest nights,
no evil shall escape my sight.
That those who worship evil's might
beware my power.
GreenLantern's light. Hello and welcome back to Sector 2814, the Green Lantern Podcast. I am Phil. Joining me as always, it's Master of the Core.
I am Will. Hey everyone.
I honestly almost, instead of hitting the Lantern Oath, I almost hit Batman, my favorite character. Oh, seriously.
We use that pretty, a lot, yeah.
I should throw that in. I should just throw that in randomly on like every show just to throw him a curveball. Especially the Marvel stuff, like on Spider-Man. Ray will be like, son of a bitch. Alright, kids. So, tonight, we're going to be getting to Green Lantern 148 through 150 of Judd Winnick's run.
Mm-hmm.
Which we only have, maybe 10, 12 more issues of Judd Winnick?
I think so, yeah. And
then after tonight, we're only going to be 32 issues away from something.
The thing about... Okay, let me back up a second. Because two really great things happen up to this point in Winnick's run. And they both happen in this issue. And that's Central Power Battery and, the Guardians coming back.
Yeah.
And now, I know that there is an issue coming up that deals with, hate crime and things like that, which are much more important, I think, works. But up until now, the most important things he's done are in issue 150. And the rest of the series that he's written, I'm sorry, but it seems kind of forgettable. I mean, I can't tell you, what there was the Jon Stewart issue, but I only remember that because we did it last week. I mean, it's a lot of it.
What about the creation of that that mega super villain Nero? Yes,
I forgot. Sorry,
Alex Nero.
So I mean, and we'll talk about this more, in a minute. But I have a problem with the structure. I think of his individual issues on this run, and I think it has to do with he may be going well. If this is the end of his story that he started, it was all very, very anticlimactic, know. And thinking back, his issues seem to have kind of a consistent. Well, stuff happens, but there's no rising action, there's no climax, and then there's no falling action. It's just stuff happens, and maybe I'm just not seeing it, but it just seems, and it just seems kind of forgettable. I mean, I remember a lot of the Mars stories because, I feel like they had beginning, middles, and ends. This just seems like stuff happens. And, maybe that's not fair to Winnick, but that's just my impression of his run so far. Now, granted, he still has 10, 12 more issues, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or 16 more issues, or...
I think it's only 10 or 12, because doesn't it go to 162 or something like that?
Okay.
Something like that.
Yeah. So, I mean, they're not bad.
Mm-mm.
They're just not...
I mean, it's cool when you get a human interest story, but it seems like we got more human interest than superhero action.
Well, and even the battle that Jade was in at the beginning of 148,
mm-hmm.
It wasn't any drama that I think you could have got from that battle was completely and totally drained because there's Kyle watching it and commenting on it, so that she's not in any real danger. We know.
Yeah.
There's no drama, there's no chance. So I really feel like when it makes some odd choices like that, throughout his run so far, where it kind of drains the drama from the story and it just becomes a sequence of events.
Yeah. I was almost like Kyle. I'm like, wait, this fight's still going on?
Yeah. Yeah. The battle with Nero that ended in such a.
Oh yeah.
And.
Oh, you know what it gets? I mean, we're gonna get there, but it's like you're talking about 148 with Jade, and it was she was fighting Sonar. Did we ever get an origin on this Sonar?
Oh no,
I don't think Ron Mars didn't even give him an origin, did he? I swear, didn't he just like pop up and start hassling Kyle and Wally West?
I think so. Yeah, it's just he's there. Okay, cool. I can go with that. But then it just.
Because it seems so. It struck me as I'm reading 148. It's weird, and it's not even Judd Winnick's fault. It's like one of the guys most associated as a Kyle Rayner villain, at least at this point, is Sonar. And I'm like, do we even know where the hell he came from?
Not really, no. I mean, and I don't know that I associate him more as a Kyle villain. I really think.
Well, he kept popping up a few times, so.
But the ones that really kind of resonate, are like Graven and. Effigy. I mean, let's not talk about the Joker story.
Take my crossover issue, please.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't know. 20 years ago, if you asked me what I was most excited about, would be Winnick on Green Lantern, and back then I was still
against the Spectre.
I was still against the Spectre, of course, and also I didn't give Ron Mars a fair shake back then either, because he's the writer that took over when, we got Emerald Twilight. So now I feel like those are completely reversed. I see the quality and the consistency of what Mars was able to do for so long, with Daryl Banks and lots of other great artists, Jeff Johnson.
Yeah.
Hit it, man.
Why? The Ron Mars,
and Jeff Johnson.
Oh yes, okay. Well,
this is Ron Mars. You are listening to the Capes and Lunatics podcast.
Hi, this is Jeff Johnson. You are listening to the Capes and Lunatics podcast.
Yeah. So,
but like I keep pointing out to you, you have the now. Of course, your opinions may have changed because you have hindsight.
Exactly.
You've seen your Lord and Savior return. You know where things are going the next 20 years from this point.
And in the next 3 months. So
exactly.
I of course love Hal Jordan.
Oh my God. Not to give anything. Oh my God, when we do the episode on Rebirth, are you gonna have like party hat on, or are you gonna have like confetti and stuff?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I was on Twitter, and another writer that I followed was asked, hey, what characters would you like to work with or something? And he mentioned Rebirth specifically because he said that is such it should be a textbook on how to revive a character and then expand the mythos of the character. It was just done so well that it's, there's so much that we can learn from it, if we're going to, try to, dig into other characters and other, and their mythos and things like that, because the amount of mythos building and then just the way all the characters, I mean, and they talk about this in the collected edition of Rebirth, how easy it would have been for them to kill Kyle, but they didn't.
Exactly.
We got what, became the four corpsmen. We got Guy and John and Hal and Kyle, all four of, the Earth Lanterns at the time. Granted, we're going to get more Earth Lanterns in the future, which is great too, because all of them have different perspectives and are unique. But,
oh my God, I love that. The four corpsmen of the apocalypse.
I can't take credit for that. That's what they call them on Reddit,
nice.
In the Green Lantern Reddit.
Nice.
The four corpsmen. So yeah,
nice.
It really is a clinic on how to rejuvenate a character and a mythos and everything. It's so good, and I think I judge a lot of Green Lantern against Rebirth and and what came immediately after. Sinestro Corps War, was, a couple years into that, or a year and a half. And then, of course, we get Blackest Night. We get a new origin. We get all of these great things. And when I judge Ron Mars and Daryl Banks run against it, I don't feel that it's wanting. It's good because it does what it sets out to do, and it does it well, and it does it consistently for a very long time. Winnick's run doesn't seem to stand up that well to me, at least so far. Hopefully, I'm always hopeful that things can turn around, but I don't feel like the fundamental issues I have with his issue-to-issue storytelling are really changing.
Yeah, and I guess, we'll see in a few weeks here when we finish off the run where it's like maybe, like I said, it's been so long since I read these, I can't remember, but will it seem a little smoother because we're not building up to the Ion thing? And
maybe. I guess we'll see.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Would you like to get to the issues?
Let's get to the issues. How about that?
All right. I like that build up. All right. So yes, kids, we start with Green Lantern 140, Volume 3, number 148 from May 2002. Hand of God, Day 3, Lost and Found. Writer Judd Winnick, penciler Brandon Badeau, inker Dan Davis, colorist Moose Bauman, letterer Kurt Hathaway, and editors Bob Schreck and Nachi Castro. Ion observes how Jade is fighting the villain called Sonar. It is a close duel between those two, and Cal is ready to intervene if anything might get out of hand for his girlfriend Jade. Cal knows that Jade probably would not approve that he is continuously monitoring her. When it looks as if Sonar defeats Jade, she kicks him below the waistline and finishes him off. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Couple of balls down the gob.
Later, both Cal and Jade meet at Radu's coffee shop. Hey, we haven't seen Radu in a while. Cal explains that he was able to feel how Jade nearly broke her ribs when battling Sonar. This keeps Jade skeptical about the omnipotence her boyfriend now possesses as Ion. In Metropolis, Clark Kent is watching news on TV, which mainly focus on all the good deeds Ion has done lately. Lois Lane definitely is thankful for that, as Ion's work is taking some load off Superman's shoulders. Meanwhile, Cal and Jade are visited by John Stewart and his girlfriend Mirren. Jade is stunned that John is finally able to walk again. Cal only acts surprised as he actually played a part in John's recovery. After all four friends went to a club and danced through the night, Cal and Jade return home. Once again, they talk about Jade's fight with Sonar, and Cal mentions how Sonar tried to take away Jade's power ring. When Cal hints that he would be able to give Jade her natural powers back, she does not hesitate and begs Cal to do so. Cal obliges, then both heroes take off into the sky. Okay. All right, first of all, what did you think of this penciler? It wasn't bad, but especially with, Jade, I was like, I don't know.
Some of the panels,
some of the characters seemed like over-muscled, maybe, especially, Jade. I was like, ugh.
Yeah, it was, maybe it was just some weird stylistic choices.
Maybe.
Because it's definitely not Daryl Banks, which is, again, someone that's that's the bar, right? That's been set. Jeff Johnson, that's another bar.
Yeah. This seems like a filling guy for Winnick too. So
yeah, which doesn't help Winnick.
No,
okay, it really does not, because we have a different. Do we have a different penciler next issue?
I think so.
And maybe even a different one in 150.
I know Dale Eaglesham does some of it, so I can't remember.
There's multiple pencilers in 150 because we get all the origins. Yeah.
I was just looking up that Brandon Badeau that did 148. All I'm seeing is Wildstorm Productions, and he is a comic book artist, so so maybe he's Wildstorm. But I have no problem with Jade getting her powers back, but I don't know. Sometimes it just feels weird where it's like one writer takes her powers away, and next writer comes in and gives her powers back.
Well, and I think I like that she got her powers back. I just thought it was a very, again, weird, anticlimactic way to do it. Oh, yeah, okay, here, it's done. Okay, she doesn't... So, where's the drama? Okay? This issue doesn't have, really... She fights and,
Yeah, I know. It should have taken. It should have taken a couple seconds. I mean, the star wasn't it, the whole thing with the star heart shouldn't it have been a little more difficult.
Well, apparently, Ion, the green space dolphin. Sorry, we'll get there. Spoilers. I don't know. Again, this just. I know I've harped on this, but this just seems like a sequence of events. It doesn't seem like a story.
Well, and again, is it set up for because we're going to give John that ring, but it's like, isn't that the ring that can duplicate itself?
I thought so. I mean, Jade is an interesting character in her own right.
Yes,
and having her have to be a Green Lantern, I feel like takes it away from her a little bit and doesn't necessarily help Green Lantern.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because she is, originally Infinity Inc., son, daughters of the JSA, which, when you get right down to it, Golden Age Green Lantern has nothing to do with the modern, Green Lantern and Green Lantern Corps.
Yes.
Even at this point, as an elder statesman, fine, but I feel like the Corps is large enough. Green Lantern and the Corps, as a mythos, are large enough that they don't need to steal characters from other areas. If that makes any sense.
Yeah. I mean, I get wanting Jade to be unique, and we are sending her back to status quo. I guess it was just the anticlimactic. It's like that rubbed me the wrong way, and just the art. The art didn't. The art did not help it at all.
Absolutely. I mean, this. It's like, this. I think I know. It never feels like the issue should end where it ends.
Yeah. Do you think would it have been better if, like, in the middle of the battle with Sonar, she's about to be defeated, and Kyle's like, you know what, I got to turn those powers back on, and then later he explains to her, well, I gave you your powers back.
And then have a little drama around, well, you didn't ask my permission to do that, or something. But this was like, yeah, okay, cool, yay.
Exactly. Exactly.
And
yeah, but we got that dance montage, Will.
Yes, and there's just some. I mean, I agree with the decision to give Jade her powers back. They shouldn't have been stripped from her in the first place.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That seems to happen more to female characters than it does male characters. But
yeah,
we're not going to go down that rabbit hole right now, right? So I like that it happened. I just thought the execution of it was very lacking.
Yeah.
And I like John walking again. Same thing. I thought the execution of that was extraordinarily lacking.
Yeah. And again, I found it weird. Like Jade, I mean, she's been a superhero longer than Kyle, but it's just like, how many times is she be shocked? Like, oh my God, you're walking. I mean, I know she's happy, but it's like, how many people have you probably seen die and come back? And
well, and that's something else that I feel like I don't want to say dumb her down.
Yeah.
But she
make her either emotional or dumb her down.
But she's been a hero a lot longer than Kyle.
Yeah.
A whole lot longer. And yet he's the experienced one that's bailing her out, right? So
yeah, I mean, they really don't go into it, but I always felt like, as Ion, they gave him cosmic awareness.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's supposed to, at least at this point, it's just like, oh, he's so cool and calm because, yes, he's touching a higher plane or whatever.
Mm-hmm. And let's not get me started on the Spectre thing that happens in 150. We'll get there, though.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, it's so far. I mean, this run has been somewhat disappointing. I mean, it's not bad. It's just not. It's not good. It's not great. It's not what I was expecting.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think I always felt like I don't know what bugged me about this run, but yeah, I think it's more could happen. Yes.
Well, everything just comes so easy. There's no cost to any of the decisions
what I'm saying.
That they have to make.
With the Ion stuff, I think that's part of it. So maybe now that Ion's out of the equation after 150, maybe.
Yeah.
Trying to remember.
We'll see.
Yeah. All right, you ready for the next one?
Let's do it.
All right. Here we go. Green Lantern number 149. Oh, it's about to hit the fan. June 2002. Hand of God, Day 4. Writer Judd Winnick. Yeah, penciler Dale Eaglesham this time. Inker Rodney Ramos. I think everyone else is the same.
I thought the art was better this issue.
Yeah. Dale Eaglesham is I think he might be besides Daryl Banks, of course. But I think after Daryl Banks, he's probably like the penciler I've liked on Judd Winnick's run the most. I think. Cal getting Superman's face on the cover there.
Yeah.
The JLA is meeting at the watchtower on the moon when Martian Manhunter picks up an anomaly in space. In fact, the anomaly is caused by a huge cloaked ship from the crystal invaders of Karalex. But before members of the JLA even have prepared themselves to face the alien invaders, Ion tells them that he has already transported the ship back where it belongs. And I was just waiting for Batman to say, "Hey, that's my thing."
Go ahead, throw it in. Batman, my favorite character. Into the Dark Knight, all to do with Batman.
Yeah, I was waiting for Batgod to say, "No, that's my game. That's my thing."
Yeah, I'm supposed to be the one to do that.
He also explains that he showcased them his immense power so that they probably will not try another invasion in the future. Shortly after, Superman takes Kal by his side. He has watched all of Ion's contributions lately to make Earth a better place to live. Despite that, he thinks that Kal is overstepping some boundaries because he has become too great of a force in people's lives. Already, after a few days of work, cults are popping up all over the world, worshipping Ion as some kind of god. In the evening, Kal meets with Alan Scott and talks with him about Superman's criticism. Alan can relate to Kal as he also absorbed the power of a Green Lantern ring into himself. Still hard. But Alan believes that Kal will find the right balance, which his colleagues will eventually approve. Kal leaves Alan with the intention to finally meet his father.
And again, there's no. Can we just rewind and replay all my criticism of the last issue? It's just stuff. Some stuff happens. The characters aren't in any emotional danger. They're not in any physical danger.
Yeah, you don't even get like a Superman. We'll stop you if we have to, but it's like no, I don't think you should. But
yeah,
whatever.
And Kyle's like, well, okay, and.
It was the most boring moral debate I've ever seen.
Yeah, and the problem. I mean, I get what Superman is saying.
Yeah,
but that's a fine line that they walk in. It's the reason the superheroes don't start acting and fixing real problems.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like you're toppling a government. He's feeding people.
Yeah, I mean, and that's why the argument from Superman kind of rings hollow, because he's saving lives.
Yes.
Right? And it seems to me, why bring that up? Because you obviously know the downsides of the argument, right? At least I hope you know the downsides of the argument. I mean, he's talking about power, but Kyle isn't, making decisions for people. He's keeping people alive, right? And giving them a chance to live and do what they're doing. And it just seems awful disingenuous. How about that? Of an argument.
Well, yeah, because he even says something to Kyle's like, "Oh, cults have popped up," and Kyle's like, "Yeah, well, yeah, you and Wonder Woman have cults around you too." And Superman's like, "Oh, well, yours came up quicker." Wait, what?
Yeah. So.
I
mean, and then I guess too, part of this, I feel like, and you actually brought this up, I think, last week, and I hadn't considered it, but I think I'm considering it even more now. Wise Phil. Essentially giving Kyle the power of parallax, but having him be wise enough to give it back seems to be I don't know if it's a slight or just a way to say why Kyle is better than Hal, right? I mean, that seems to be I hadn't seen it before, but after you pointed it out, I'm like, oh, duh, there it is. I mean,
especially after 150.
Especially after 150. We'll get there.
Yes.
I don't know. I mean, I think I sound like a broken record at this point. What do you think? I mean,
No, I agree. Like I said, I agree with every point you're making. It's just like, yeah, and basically we're debating this issue, and it's just like, oh, well, how dare you feed, help, feed Africa and help them feed themselves. And
yeah. Well, and that's okay. If two characters are just talking to each other, you've not dramatized, they're not shouting, they're just chatting, right? The whole point is to dramatize the philosophical clash that's happening. There's no clash that's happening.
It's not even like that heated of a debate. It's like, oh, I don't think you should do this. It should Superman.
Can you think about it? Maybe. Okay, I'll think about it. Oh, you're right. Okay, I'm done.
Should Superman be that wishy-washy? I don't know if he should do that.
Yeah, I mean, and this just felt awkward to me.
Yeah.
Superman doesn't sit around and watch TV. Okay,
in that bathroom.
In the bathroom, no. Okay, that's just not what he does. He's Superman, right?
Especially the shot they gave us.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm like, really?
I feel like that again. This issue kind of just it once again proves that winning is not really. There's nothing dramatic going on here. It's just these things are happening. Okay. And I hope it gets better post Ion, but I feel like this was his story, right?
Yeah.
And I just feel like the execution of this was subpar. I mean, it could have been so. I feel like it could have been so much better. It could have really said something about power and responsibility and a lot of things, but we don't really get any of that.
Well, again, like you said, like the whole comparison to how Jordan went over your head. The first time I read this, it went over my head. I mean, it's a little too subtle. even with how showing, the Spectre showing up next issue.
Yeah. I feel like it could have been so much better.
Again, I mean, not to beat a dead horse, but look what everything Ron Mars did. I mean, look what Grant Morrison even did in JLA.
Mm-hmm.
I think Grant Morrison gave Cal more to do in JLA, which is a team book, which means you had to share the spotlight, which is pretty bad.
Because the characterization of Kyle, he doesn't really add much to it. Kyle suddenly becomes God. Okay, great, but it doesn't actually change him. I feel like that kind of experience might leave an emotional mark. Perhaps,
or should the story have been more suspenseful? Should have keep it ambiguous, where it's like, oh God, is he turning into another Parallax? Is he turning into another Parallax? And then at 150, like, no, he's going to give up the power.
Yeah, build some tension, because there's really no tension in this either. It's just
he did some good deeds.
Stuff happens.
Did some good deeds,
and my first thought when we get to 150. When he gave up all that power, what about that planet that he was keeping from being at war?
Yeah, exactly.
What happens to that? I mean, I unfortunately, I doubt that it will ever be followed up on.
Yeah.
That's my expectation, at least at this point. I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah.
That's my expectation.
And I mean, once again, spoilers. Next issue, he's going to Oa. They really could have built that for suspense. You kind of could have given us an ambiguous scene with him flying to Oa like Hal did, and it's like, oh God, what's he going to do? What's happening?
Yeah. Well, and, to bring Ganthet in.
Yeah.
But not have Ganthet be any part. Was he... He did show up earlier,
he shows up in,
and
remember then he was all mysterious in that our world's at war thing. It's like, something bad's coming, but I can't tell you what it is.
Well, it wasn't bad. I mean, that makes no sense. And then,
but again, I think it was our world's at war stuff, which Cal barely had anything to do with. Yeah.
But, to have Ganthet be such an important part of the next issue and have him not show up in the regular book to kind of lay the groundwork for that.
Shouldn't Ganthet have been poking his head in every so often to make sure that Kyle wasn't becoming another Parallax?
Yeah. Hey man, how's it going? Everything all right? Ring groovy, But
need me to wipe your memory of those powers like Jon Stewart?
Yeah. I mean, it just felt kind of. It would have been cool too to have, when Kyle was in space or something, earlier in Winnick's run. Oh yeah, look, Oa's back. How cool is that? But instead, boom, it's just thrown at us there at the end, oh, please read The Last Will and
I know, that's what I think that's what I told you when we covered that one. I was like, they never promoted that. I don't think I ever saw it when it came out, because all of a sudden I'm reading 150 and it's like, oh wait, O's back. I'm like, what the hell happened? And it's like, oh, read Last Will and Testament of Hal Jordan. I'm like, what the hell's that?
Exactly.
I'm like, I've heard nothing about this.
So, the other thing, he relights the battery. Now, there's somebody else on Oa that is extraordinarily important to Green Lantern, lore, who doesn't even make an appearance.
Mm-hmm.
Kilowog. We get into that, I know, in future issues. Yeah. I don't know how. I just know that it's, kind of dealt with. So,
yes.
I don't know. It's just, and then, are we finished with 149 at this point?
That's fine. I mean, I was going to say, should we just do 150 so we can?
Let's do 150. Right. Yeah, let's get into it.
All right, we keep talking about it anyway. All right, so oh my lord, Will, we're at 150.
I know. We started.
Well,
we've been through 150 issues.
A little more, because remember we did Emerald Dawn and speaking of
Showcase 22. Yeah.
Summer of '69.
Yeah.
So we've done over 150. All right, so Green Lantern 150, July 2002, Beginning's End. Same. Oh, yeah. Writer Judd Winnick, pencilers Dale Eaglesham and Pat Quinn, inkers Rodney Ramos and John Lowe. So 2 artists, 2 inkers.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone else is the same. Inker, colorist, letter. All right. Using his new powers, Ion travels through the time stream and observes how all the Green Lanterns of Earth came to be, from Alan Scott to Hal Jordan, John Stewart, and Guy Gardner. He also watches how Hal Jordan ran crazy as Parallax when Ion is interrupted by the Spectre. The latter warns Ion about intervening in the timeline, but Ion explains that he would be able to save Hal Jordan and the people of Coast City. The Spectre is not interested in changing the past, though, and thus Cal turns his attention to his father, Aaron Rayner, who is currently living under the name Raymond Hauser in Austin, Texas. Aaron is surprised that his son was able to find him. Of course, he does not know that by using the powers of Ion, it took Cal only 10 minutes to locate his father. Yeah, because he said he just looked for the closest match to his DNA. Yeah. Now Aaron tells Cal that his real name is Gabriel Vasquez and that he was born in Mexico. He ended up in the CIA and fell in love with Cal's mother, Mora. When his CIA cover was blown, they left America together and got married. But Aaron became restless, and when Cal was about 1 year old, he just left. But Cal looks into his father's mind to confirm his story and finds some inconsistencies. Indeed, it was Cal's mother that left his dad because they were continuously on the run. Obviously, Aaron does not want Cal to blame his mother for their breakup. All right. Next, Ion flies to Oa and summons Ganthet, the last remaining guardian of the universe. Without further explanation, Ion reignites the central power battery of Oa by transferring most of his powers into it. Astonished, Ganthet watches not only the return of power to Oa, but also about 24 kids step out of the battery. They represent the future guardians, and it is Ganthet's task to raise them. Cal left a power ring for himself to be Green Lantern again. He made some improvements, though. The power ring will never run out of energy entirely, and when someone takes it away from Cal, it will always automatically return to him. So, how do we feel about that? It will.
Guardians are back. Central power battery's back. Yay!
Guardian babies.
That's right.
But I'm just like, really, Winnick? That ring will never. Again, he has to recharge to get the full power, but it will never run out of power.
And then we get a new costume for Kyle.
Yes, with the dog collar. Yes.
I feel the same way about it. I mean, I much prefer his classic costume.
Me too. And I mean, it makes its comeback. I love when he's asking Jade. He's like, "You really like it?" I can hear readers going, "No,
no." Again, there's so much talking, right?
Oh yeah. Especially with his father. Which, do we ever get back to that father?
I don't think so. I mean, the biggest sin I think a writer can commit in comics is to tell and not show. Comics are all about showing, and we get told stuff throughout this issue. I mean, if the end point of this arc was going to be the reignition of the central power battery and the bringing back of the Guardians, there was no groundwork for it laid.
No.
Right?
The last Will and Testament did all that.
Yeah, I mean, if there was some groundwork saying, hey, we need, because of some story, gosh, wouldn't it be great if the Guardians were back? Maybe have that somewhere in the arc, but we don't have that anywhere in the arc. Or, gosh, wouldn't it be great if the central power battery was back?
And I think there was one sentence in this issue where he says, this is more power than one person should have. That should have been emphasized more. It should have been a big struggle,
Yeah,
mental
struggle. It's just
mental issues, and it's just like, no, I have to reignite that battery, or I'm going to go mad, or something. Yeah,
let's light this sucker up. All right, I mean that's basically. And then he comes back, and he's in his original costume, which I liked.
Because that's the thing. And he should have felt himself sliding like towards Parallax territory and be like, no, I have to throw all this power into that battery, or I'm going to start repeating Hal's mistakes.
Yeah, but there was never any of that. There was none of that in this issue. There was no buildup of that. It was just like, he's just a good guy, and why shouldn't he have this power?
But it's like, and again, then it's like, well, was that the right choice? I mean, you brought back the Guardians. I mean, the central power battery is fully charged again, even though there's only 2 rings that are going to be powering off of it. It's like, you just gave up the ability to, feed these third world countries. It's like,
and keep that other planet at war.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So the other thing too is, and I don't know how we follow up with this, because I've not really read anything.
Yeah.
Post 150, I don't think. Maybe here and there. I think I've read the issue with Terry.
Yeah.
But if the central power battery is back, that means it's broadcasting power to all the personal batteries, right?
It should be.
Whoops. Right there. Wouldn't that mean all the rings that are still out there would start working again?
Or do those connections need rebooted or whatever? Because it was completely destroyed and then brought back. So
yeah, how many times now? What are we up to? Sorry. So the Green Lanterns protect the universe for literally millions of years, and then within the last 10 years, comic time, it's always been destroyed like 3 times. So.
Well, once you start letting those people in, Earthlings.
Oh, yeah. Humans, man. Humans.
Humans.
I don't know. Don't get me wrong. I like the result of this story, just like I like the result of Jade having her powers back.
Again, there was no conflict.
There's no conflict, and it just kind of comes out of nowhere. I mean, if you're gonna do something like, hey, give Jade her powers back, then she needs to express at some point before she gets her powers back that, hey, wouldn't it be cool if I had my powers back? And then, you have set the groundwork.
Again, yeah. I mean, all the stuff with Terry is nice, but maybe take a little more time. Show like, Kyle's like, I kind of knew before, but with the powers of Ion, I can really sense it now that like Jade has been very depressed because she doesn't have her powers back. This as like the man who loves her, I can do this. And
I mean,
instead it's like, oh hey, sweaty from after dancing, hi, would you like your powers back? Boom,
here, boom, done. Hey, I'd really like a burrito. Can you give me a burrito? Or pizza. Pizza's great too. I mean, it just seems like that's as much thought that's given to what he does with the power.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it just happens. It just happens. And I feel like that's the most damning criticism I can give, to his run so far, is that there's no conflict, there's no drama, stuff just happens.
Even the Superman scene, it was, again, it's, he could have gotten Kyle's face and like, no, you're going to stop, or we're going to stop you. But no, it's just like, no, I don't think you should be doing this, but whatever.
Oh, the Spectre. Let's talk about the Spectre.
Of course, of course.
He's like, hey, dude, you're not thinking about changing anything, are you? Because, that I'm just telling you, that'd be a bad thing to do. You should not do that. All right, man, I won't do it. Okay.
Oh, yeah, because Kyle even says, he's like, yeah, boy, you really aren't deceitful, are you? Because you said I shouldn't alter time. You didn't say I can.
Uh-huh. So, I mean, I really...
See, that would be another interesting thing if like he was started going down the Parallax route. If Hal showed up and was like started talking him out of it, but like, no, you can't do this. You know where I've been. I'm the only person in the creation who can tell you don't do this. It's not good.
Yeah. And I really don't feel like the groundwork was really laid. Early on in this arc for this to be the end game of it, right?
Do you think maybe he didn't have an end point in mind, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I need something big for 150?
I hope not. I mean, because I really felt like this arc was trying to maybe build to something, but then it just kind of fizzled out. Right?
Or do you think someone said, hey, we need to bring Oa back and, some Guardians, and maybe they didn't have Rebirth in mind, but maybe they were thinking like of restarting some version of a Green Lantern Corps, because again, Last Will and Testament was by a different writer. So, or were they just like, okay, you bring back Oa, and then, oh, hey, Judd, you got a big 150 coming. Hey, can we like do something with that?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I want to, part of me thinks that this is where he wanted to go with it.
Yeah.
Because, well, I mean, and look back at our discussion of Circle of Fire. I think it kind of suffers from a lot of the same, hey, we're going to do this, but what are the ramifications of doing this?
Mm-hmm.
Because really Circle of Fire is kind of the same story, isn't it?
Kind of, sort of. Well, I mean, yeah, pretty much. Except, basically he was fighting the power at that point. Now he basically just like, yep, it did some good stuff. Now I will get rid of it.
Yep.
I would say there's probably more conflict and drama in Circle of Fire than there was here.
Yeah, but they never really dealt with like, hey, did he kill anybody?
Yeah, exactly.
As Oblivion, he caused lots of problems for like Ran and maybe other planets, but there was really no consequences to any of that stuff, and it was about power, I guess, and this is about power as well. It's just I don't know. I feel like both of the Circle of Fire arc and then this arc has been like what, 12 issues?
129. He's when it started, so
20 issues.
Yeah, like 21 issues. Yeah.
I mean, I don't ever.
And what did we get? What did we?
Yeah, I don't ever felt like it was building to anything, let alone this.
Yeah.
Right now, don't get me wrong. I love the fact that the Central Power Battery's back and the Guardians are back. I love that plot point.
Yeah.
But that plot point comes totally out of left field.
Yes, exactly. Especially, like I can attest, the first time I read this, I had not read The Last Will and Testament of Hal Jordan, so I was like,
what the heck?
Wait, what?
So, I mean, I really feel like that's the criticism I have for Winnick's run so far.
Yeah.
Is that, I never felt like it was building to this, and there's just there doesn't seem to be much conflict, there doesn't seem to be much drama, and I hope that changes in the future, but, 21 shots at 21 at-bats and 21 strikeouts.
And again, there's more behind us than ahead of us. So.
Exactly. So, I mean, I'm still hopeful, but I doubt that his approach to Green Lantern is going to change radically in the next 10, 12 issues, right?
Yeah, probably not. I'm trying to think. I thought I had some. What did you? I mean, that was pretty dark with the father, where it's like when he looked in his mind, and it's like, oh no, they had, the father had to beat the mother, so it looked like that she left him and stuff, and so his enemies want to come after her and stuff. It's like, damn, that's dark.
Yeah, and
then his father, of course, his mother figured out he was Green Lantern, so of course that father who had been in the CIA and stuff had to. It would have been stupid if he didn't know, but he knew. But
but how he? I guess he would have followed him, as a creeper for all of his life to know.
I mean, yeah. I mean, he was former CIA. I guess he could like subtly keep an eye on him. I guess.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean.
And remember, he met Hal Jordan. Remember?
Damn that Hal Jordan.
Remember, Cal's father, the man of many names, met Hal Jordan.
Yeah, I'm curious. I got the book around here somewhere, but I feel like sales probably started declining under Winnick's run.
Yeah.
And again, I don't have the data to back this up. It's just a gut feeling. I maybe have the data somewhere around here, but at the moment I don't have access to it.
Yeah.
150 is a big, hey, we got a great Jim Lee cover with Hal and Guy and John and Alan and Kyle and, awesome. And we get a new costume. And a new costume, I feel like that's what editorial does when sales are flagging. Hey, it's the first appearance of the new costume. It's Superman red, it's Superman blue. It's the mullet. Sorry.
I mean, at least there, I mean, as bad as some of those stories were, it's like at least it like changed his powers up. It did something. I mean, just a new costume for a second of a new costume. It's just like it's really not driving any plot point.
No, I mean it was just. So my thoughts on Kyle as an artist would be that his costume changes constantly, right? But it's hard to brand that. It's hard to,
He's not Janet Van Dyne, I know.
Yeah, so having him have a standard costume there's a lot of meta reasons for him to have a standard costume.
Yes.
In continuity, there's not really any reason because he can create whatever he wants. Hey, I'm feeling a little black today. Let's have it go all black with just green. Oh, I'm happy today. Let's change the mask up. It could be whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I wonder, and I don't know. I have no clue. This is all supposition, and having been alive for the last 30 years, I guess.
Really been alive 30 years?
Well, I have been alive the last 30 years, perhaps even longer. Yes, okay. And actually much longer. But we like to talk about the writing on the wall, right?
Yes.
How soon did they know that they were going to reboot with Rebirth? And we're still in 2002. Rebirth doesn't come around for 2 more years. Is the writing already on the wall?
That's what I said. If they don't have Rebirth in mind, or do they have thought in their head of, maybe we should bring back a Green Lantern Corps with maybe Kyle as its head, as the Hal Jordan figure?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know, and that's not something we'll probably ever know.
No.
But I think it's a fair question to ask. Because as much as Ron Mars and Darryl Banks and Jeff Johnson and those guys and Paul Pelletier did for Green Lantern over 6 years, 7 years, I feel like the Winnick run has started to erode a lot of that.
Yeah, and again, it is so different tonally from Ron Mars, which I think we've said already. So it's like I could see sales, dipping because again, it's different tone. It's more focused on like the human aspect than like the superhero aspect.
Mm-hmm. And the approach of Mars and his artist was that Kyle was always an everyman.
Yes,
that's not Kyle now. Not. And that's not been Kyle for the last 12, 14, 16, 18 issues, right?
Yeah.
Does he get angry in any of those issues? I mean, it all seems just, this is the baseline emotional state of this book, and it doesn't ever really seem to vary.
Yeah, I don't think he gets angry at all. I mean, that should have, if you wanted to steer in that skid, do that. Be like, oh wait, have Jade be like, I don't think I've seen you happy, sad. I mean, you're just getting motionless, and do that whole jazz. The emotionless, purely logical.
Yeah,
do that angle, but they didn't even do that.
But there's no downside to him getting the power.
Yeah,
there was really no.
He could have kept it.
Yeah, there was no upside to him really giving up the power, except we get the Central Power Battery and the Guardians back.
Again, I think there's literally one sentence in 150 where he's like, "Oh, this is more power than one person should have." Why?
He's shown that he can handle it.
Yeah, it seems like you handle it fine.
Yeah. So, I was disappointed with the end of this arc, very much so.
I mean, I like our supporting cast, but maybe more time should have been, put on Kyle Rayner, showing why he shouldn't have kept his power instead of doing the whole, oh hey, Jon Stewart, we stole that script from that MASH episode. The whole Jade thing.
Well, and Ron Mars said it. This is a special effects book, right?
Yeah.
It's about Green Lantern. It's about Green Lantern doing Green Lantern things. Jade's had a ring for a while, but we rarely see any Green Lantern-y type things going on, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's an approach. I don't feel like it's the best approach, but it's certainly an approach to take.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like we didn't see a ton of constructs in this run into it, except for when it's like, oh, how's Cal making all these constructs and they act like they're like living people,
Or Nero's making all these. We should kill him. Where the heck did that come from? Why don't we just get the ring off his finger? Can we try that? Let's not go with the nuclear option first. Maybe we start with something else.
See, that's another perfect plot point where you could have went, why did Cal say we should kill him? The Justice League should be like, Cal doesn't talk like that, and it's like it was Ion, dampening down his emotions and making him purely, pure logical. And it's like, well, that's the best strategy, to end this with the minimum casualties. Is to kill Nero.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it just doesn't feel like a Green Lantern book.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
How did you feel when they like retold Hal Jordan's origin? They pulled the Emerald Dawn origin.
Yeah, the 90s were not kind to our heroes at times.
With him arguing with the guy while he's in the simulator. That was Emerald Dawn.
Yeah. And
see episode 2, or was that 1 or 2? See episode 1 or 2.
Yeah. Oh, hey, our heroes have to have feet of clay, so let's make him a drunk driver. Let's make him this, make him that. I mean,
I don't think that's the whole drunk driving thing has not been brought up since Emerald Dawn too.
Yeah, and we get a really keyed in and great origin story with Secret Origin. 20-something, 30 issues into Rebirth.
Yeah,
that would have been a great movie, but we got something else. Sorry.
DC put out a bad movie?
I know. Well, actually, it is surprising because it wasn't a Snyderverse movie.
True.
All right.
Well, it was before the Snyderverse, yes. I mean, that's the conversation me and Lilith and some of the others have had recently. It's like, how sad is it that we can't get like a good Green Lantern or a Flash or even, they can't do. It seems like they can't get Superman off the ground, pun intended. But it's like, we're about to have our third Ant-Man movie, our third Guardians of the Galaxy movie.
Oh my God! If you would have told go back in time and tell 12-year-old me, Ant-Man's going to have a trilogy of movies and they're all going to be awesome and they're going to be great in the in theaters
and they're going to be better money and they're going to be better than any DC movie at that time
ever made. Yeah, I'd be like, wow, that sounds cool, but you're full of it. There's no way.
I'd be like, oh, that's cool. That's cool. You've heard of Ant-Man too?
Yeah. And that's not, and the Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, we're talking about characters that I've known and loved for a very long time. Same with Ant-Man. Scott Lang as Ant-Man has always been one of my faves. And, for him to get a movie and go through Hollywood and it not be a joke and actually be a really good movie and then get a sequel and another sequel. I mean, it's like, wow, it's amazing. But we can't get, and
can't get a Green Lantern movie. We can't get a good Green Lantern movie.
We can't get a Green Lantern movie. We can't get a good Superman movie. We can't. I mean, we have had some good Batman movies.
Yeah.
But I think Batman is such a...
Batman, my favorite character.
I mean, they should get Batman somewhat right. I mean, they've done how many movies already and rebooted it and done it again.
Mm-hmm. But, and we got a great Wonder Woman movie. And we got a not so great Wonder Woman
Yeah, exactly.
But, even the Aquaman movie was just big, dumb fun. And it really... Did you ever see Aquaman in the Brave and the Bold cartoon?
Yeah.
He was basically underwater Hercules, right?
Yeah.
And that's what they did on the big screen. And I was just like, this is so much fun. But you can't get Superman right. I mean, that shows that should have set off all kinds of alarm bells for a lot of people that this is this is not going to work. And then to be honest, I haven't even watched the Batman v Superman or the JLA movie. I have no interest at this point. And I mean, look at how successful the Flash on TV has been. I mean, I feel like that was going to be completely and totally ignored for the Flash movie, which we may get, we may not get, who knows at this point, right?
I mean, they've been talking about that damn Flash movie since the TV show started, and we're about to start our 9th season.
I mean, you just look at the big guns of the JLA, and Batman's the only one that's got, a better batting average. Odds are his movie's going to be better, but we could talk about bat nipples, but whatever, so...
And I mean, Superman. I mean, as corny as Christopher Reeve stuff was, I mean, most of his movies, I think, took place pre-Crisis. So, I mean, you got an excuse. Yeah. And I mean, Brandon Routh wouldn't have been bad, except they wanted to kind of make him like the sequel to the Christopher Reeve movies.
Yeah, exactly. And I loved Henry Cavill as Superman. I thought he made a really cool looking Superman, but the story of...
Again, don't tell a Superman story through a Batman lens. Don't do it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they are opposite ends of the superhero spectrum, right?
Yes.
So, yeah, you can't take the same approach for them. And and hey, guess what? The sun does shine occasionally.
Yes, Snyder.
In superhero movies. Yeah. So, yeah,
All I'll say is the movies and the current comics. I mean, they've killed Lilith Hellfire's love for Wonder Woman like Bendis killed your love of Avengers.
I'm so sorry for her. But and the thing is, I think Gunn is, or I hope Gunn is going to be good for DC. I think he will be, but I also hope that everything doesn't become the Suicide Squad, right?
Yeah. Well, forget it was either today or yesterday. People online were like all freaking out because I guess Gunn must have put up. He's like, "Oh, I'm just reading some comics with my morning coffee or something." It was All-Star Superman,
which is an amazing story.
So everyone's like, "Are we gonna get that as a movie? We're gonna get that as a movie?"
Well, I mean, they've adapted it as a cartoon, already. Yeah. So that's part of the brilliance of Grant Morrison. They get Superman, that origin, 3 sentences with 2 words each. Boom, there's the origin of Superman in 1 page, 3 panels. It's brilliant. I mean, and that's just what they were able to do in that series there's a reason it's a classic now.
Yeah.
And there's a reason I taught it when I was teaching that class. So.
Nice. And definitely way better and definitely better than All-Star Batman and Robin.
Sorry. Not gonna go there.
We just became a meme.
Yeah, I don't know. So part of me hopes that was Frank Miller parodying himself, but there's a larger part of me thinks that he wasn't. The older he gets, I swear, the further off the rails he gets. It's like, it's like Daredevil Born Again, Batman Year One. It's like, okay, and The Dark Knight Returns. Okay, we're kind of, and then it's like we get sequels to The Dark Knight Returns. We get All-Star Batman Robin. It's like, yeah, I mean, I feel Sin City is, his thing, right? It's what he wants to write about.
Yeah. If that's his thing, yeah.
But Born Again and Daredevil, was great. Born Again seems a little bit cynical. It's like, here, let's pluck the wings off of the little fly that is Daredevil. We're going to take that.
Oh, I mean, page 1, Karen Page is back, but she's a drug addicted porn star.
Yeah, yeah. I really love Batman Year One. I feel like that's probably the strongest, his strongest work, and I think it's strongest because of his artist.
Yeah.
Right. The two of them made something better than either of them could make individually with Year One.
Yeah.
And I think they also did that with Born Again, but I feel like Born Again leans so heavily into noir. It's all about, punishing loss and doing everything that you can just to make the characters, suffer.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like Year One is a bit more hopeful, at least of course I haven't read it in a few years, so I probably need to reread it, but I think it's his best.
It is good.
And we've gone way far afield. Sorry about that.
That's all right. That's all right. All right, William, you want to know what we're doing next week?
What are we doing next week, Phil?
Well,
can you tell me?
I'll give you a little bit of a break because, yes, next week we'll be doing more Spectre.
Sweet.
18 through 23, so.
6 issues. Awesome.
Yes. A little more manageable. And then in 2 weeks we'll be back with Green Lantern 151 and 152.
Okay, is 153 the Terry issue? Or is it 151 or 152?
Well, the episode after, I think that's the Terry one, because we got 153 through 155, and I believe it is one of those. So
one of those, gotcha.
Yeah. And after that, so in about, a month, then we'll finish up the Spectre with Spectre 24 through 27.
Awesome. And then it's Open Road Green Lantern until
the end, right? JLA Spectre Soul War. Kinda, but then when we get the Green Lantern 156 and 157, when a certain someone gets a ring, remember we're also going to do Cosmic Odyssey.
Oh yes, that's right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then the last episode of March, we're going to be doing the JLA Avengers with Justin. So,
yep. And we're not going to do 1 and 3 and him 2 and 4 or vice versa.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I know that would be insane.
Yes, him and I do a Marvel show, so yeah, we'll do some there. We'll do some there. Yes. We'll probably do 1 and 2 there because that drops on Thursday. This usually drops on Friday. So yeah.
3 and 4. Yeah, I know.
Don't worry, kids. We'll let you know. And remember, this is your week. This is your weekly reminder. Episode 118 will be Green Lantern Rebirth.
Countdown. We should have a graphic that we change in the back that's like 17 weeks until Green Lantern Rebirth.
Oh yeah, flip
weeks.
over. It is now 15 weeks till.
And we could also have another counter there that says, this many days since Rebirth has been mentioned on this show. 0, 0, 0.
How long since Rebirth has been mentioned? 10 minutes.
10 minutes. Now time to reset.
All right. So should we get out of here?
You bet, man. You bet.
Right. All right, kids. Remember, send us your thoughts on all the upcoming stuff or stuff we've already talked about. Join our core. The battery's back. Email us, CapesandLunatics@gmail.com, or call the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And remember, you can follow Sector 2814 on Facebook, on Twitter. Follow the Capes and Lunatics Sidekicks on Instagram. Follow the Capes and Lunatics Podcast Network on Hive. The YouTube channel. This episode and everything we do gets a video. So we have already hit and surpassed 269 subscribers. So help get Loth Hellfire to 369. Smash that subscribe button.
Smash it!
And, of course, the Patreon. Once again, we're paying for this out of our own pocket. Every little bit helps, but $3 to $5 gets you early access to creator interviews, including the monthly Chichester Chats.
I got the good mic out for you guys.
It was a good time. And again, you can listen to all the old content, those damn superhero movie brackets. There's some other movie reviews on there. But we got lots of cool stuff coming in 2023. January. Coming soon, Loth Hellfire and I are about to do a this or that episode where we just ask each other questions and say, would you rather this or that? So, if you dare send in questions for Loth Hellfire, send them to me. And of course, I believe William has agreed we're going to do a Quantum Zone sometime this year, which, fingers crossed, I have made brief contact with a certain young man who may join us for that, so.
Slacker. In the R sector.
Certain young man may join us if we do a Quantum Zone.
He gives me his bone.
So please subscribe to the Patreon. It's always a good time. Or pick yourself up some Capes and Lunatics and Capes and Lunatics Sidekicks merch. Find it all at Linktree, linktr.ee/Capes and Lunatics. All right. Never a boring time. Mr. Will Allred, master of the core, master of the quantum zone, master of Kickstarter comics and podcasting. Where can people find you and all these comics you produce?
You can find me at Wallred, that's at WALLRED, Gmail and Facebook and Twitter. Usually I spend more time probably on Twitter. I think I've got an Instagram account, probably something for Hive and maybe something for the Mastodon. I don't know. If you can find me pretty easy. If you would like to check out the comics that I write, you can check out Crossover Division at crossoverdivision.com. Woohoo! Thank you, Phil. In fact, the basic digital PDF of number 4 went out to all backers last night, and the book is at the printer, so I'm looking forward to get that in so I can send it out to all the backers, and that'll be a fun time. If you'd like to check out Diary of Night, which is another book that I write, you can check it out at diaryofnight.com.
I don't have the book in front of me. Here's the bookmark.
Also, Phil is not the only podcaster that I annoy on a weekly basis. Kevin Joseph, writer of Tart, and I have a show called Explain Yourself on Friday nights where we bring on comic book Kickstarter creators who have live projects and do our best to help promote the book for them, whatever it is. It's called Explain Yourself, and it's live every Friday night at 11 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. Central. And finally, obviously you love Quasar because you have great taste. You're listening to us. If you want to find out more about Quasar, you can check out the Quantum Zone at quantumzone.org. I'll put it in my navel.
Hey, boys, you look at the party? I love the party. He goes limp in my grip. I hope it's going somewhere nice. They aren't even attempting to enter our orifices.
Just going down the list.
I am God.
I cannot believe that was published in Star Blast.
I know.
Seems like I'm getting a package every other day. I, of course, love Hal Jordan.
And of course, if you love Quasar, there's a playlist on our YouTube channel with over 150 episodes.
That's right. We had a lot of fun doing that.
Most of them live reads, so yes, very entertaining. Yes.
Especially talking about, orifices and such. That was a direct read from an issue of Star Blast.
Yes, Will did not improvise, yes.
Or was it Fantastic Four?
Fantastic Four, yes.
It's Fantastic Four during Star Blast.
I see.
Yes, that's what it was.
All right, thank you for joining us. Again, in 1 week, the Spectre's... Guess who's back? Hal's back.
Again,
Spectre 18. And then, yes, we'll be back for more Judwin and Green Lantern. What do you do after you give up unlimited power?
I don't know. Hang out in space?
Send us your thoughts on this whole run. And how do you feel now that the ring is like Mjolnir and you can just throw it and it'll come back to you?
I don't know. I feel like you can mess with people with that,
Oh, boomerang it? Yeah.
Throw it and hit him in the back of the head and then it comes back. Hey, it wasn't me, man.
All right, kids, come back next time. And remember, I don't know, do something.
Whatever.
With no drama. Good night.
Yeah.